Welcome to another series of Design with Pam. Today we're going to be creating this page for a fashion brand. I'm going to be showing you how to achieve this horizontal scrolling effect with Figma. So let's get right into it. First thing we're going to do as usual is to select our frame. So we're going to click on F on our keyboard and we're going to select the desktop frame. So once you do that, I'm going to title my frame as a fashion brand design. Okay, what I'm going to do is to activate our layout grid. So I already have it on my style, but I'm going to show you what I use my layout grid so you can also replicate that. So I'm going to detach the style here. For the bottom row, this is my setting, same with my top row, and then my columns, I'm using the 12 grid columns, and my width is 76, so my gutter is 32. Then this is my other grid, my grid I'm using a size 4 here. Okay, so let's get right into it. First thing we're going to do is to create our navigation menu at the top here. I'm just going to select my logo here, and I'm going to paste it on this board already. Remember to follow the grid line. Okay, I'm going to click on T on my keyboard and I'm going to type the first text. The first text that we have is African wears. So the font that I'm going to be using is just this font here, and I'm going to leave it as semi-bold. And I'm going to leave the line height at 20, but I'm not going to use pure black for my fonts. I have a black color that I use. I'm going to detach it now, so you see 101010. Then I'm going to click on Alt or Option on my keyboard and then duplicate this and then type the next text, which is accessories. I'm going to do the same thing and type the next text, which is sale. So we're typing home essentials. Right, the good thing with Figma, if you don't spell it well, it's going to tell you. So just highlight the section that is giving you this error thingy here, and then right click and you're going to see the correct spelling. So I'm going to bring it here. Let me just arrange them a bit here. I'm going to select all of them by holding down my shift key. So I'll select the first one, hold down my shift key, select the next one. I'm still holding down my shift key. I'm selecting all of them, and I'm going to create an auto layout by clicking Shift A. So once I do that, I'm going to give it a spacing. I think let's use it 34. 34 is okay. So let's create this call to action button here. I'll click on T on my keyboard and I'm going to type shop now. I'm still going to let's make the shop now, let's give it a, what font are we're using 17. No, let's use a 16 here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to add an auto layout, right? So I'll click Shift A on my keyboard and I'm going to increase the width to be as much as, let's say, we can use between 150 to 300, right? But before then, let's give it a few color. Let's give it a black, our 101010. Okay, do we like this height, this width here? Okay, let me just make use of these two grid lines here so it snaps in. Okay, so I'm going to hold on my Command or Control button and then click on the text, which is shop now, that you're not seeing. But once you hold down your Command or Shift, you can select the particular element that your mouse is on, right, rather than right clicking many times to find that particular element and select. Then I'm going to change it to white so that it can be visible. Okay, so the horizontal padding here, I want it to be 24. By the padding here, I just going to make it to be an 8. I think this is okay. All right, so let's change the color. I think this black is okay as opposed to what we have here, and the button here is small for my liking. I didn't. All right, so I'm going to duplicate this because I want to create this other button here right immediately. But this particular one, I want the height to be as much as 64, and then I'm going to use these 3 grid lines here. I need to occupy these 3 grid lines here, and I'm going to type browse categories. Okay, so I'm going to change the font to be as much as 24. I think we're good to go. Then I'm going to work on the corner radius for the both of them. Let's just give this one an 8. It's fair. Let's give this one an 8 also, which is okay. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is to arrange all of this here. I'm going to select this call to action button here, and I'm going to select this other test here, and I'm going to create an auto layout. Right, then I'm also going to select this and also create an auto layout and make sure they are aligned in the middle, which is great. So the next thing is to create this huge test that we have here. So I'm going to click on T on my keyboard, where fashion meets culture, and I'm going to drag it to the middle. I'm reducing the line height. Okay, so for the letter spacing, let's increase the letter spacing here up to 14. I think this is good. Let's reduce the line height a bit, and we're going to change this to bold, and let's select this and center align it from here. All right, we're getting there. So the next thing we're going to do is to create the shapes that you're seeing here, but before then, let's just create this test here. So we're going to just go ahead and click on our clipboard. I'm going to copy the test that we have here. I click on T on our keyboard, and I'm going to paste the test. So I'm going to, let's make use of this. Starting from here, I want to align it to the grid line here. I think we're good. All right, this is my test, elevating your driving experience in new height. I just use a dummy test. All right, so okay, so you can put a test here that speaks to whatever you're designing. So the next thing is to create the shapes you're seeing here. I'm going to click on F on my keyboard to activate the frame tool, and I'm going to create a frame. So this frame, the shape, I'm going to give it a size of, for the width, let's use a 272. Let's use a 272. Remember, let me add the fill color so you can see a fill color here, so you can see what we're doing. For the height, I'm going to with a 336. Right. So the space between this and this, let's see what we have here. I want it to be a 48. Is it 30? Is it 32? Right, so I'm going to duplicate this to this is second frame, and I'm going to duplicate it to create the third frame here, but this third frame is going to have a different size. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want the regular website kind of design. I just wanted to create something different. You know, there's usually a boring effect when all the sizes on the image here are just the same. There's no drama going on, right? So I think, for lack of better word, that's one of the reasons why I did that, right? So I'm just going to increase the image size here that is going to be in the middle. In the seat, I'm going to be using a 508, sorry, 508. Then I'm going to duplicate this one because I want to add all of that here. I'm going to select all of it, and I'm going to hit Shift A to create an auto layout. But the spacing between all of this, I want the spacing not to be as much as this. Let's try a 32. Now that we have this frame, if you can see this frame, you can see the title now. This shows us that the frame is not in our parent frame, which is this fashion brand design. So I'm going to go ahead from this layers panel. I'm going to locate the frame, and I'm going to chuck it into the frame that we have here. So as I've pushed it into the frame, as you can see, the frame itself has entered into the design. Now let me show you what it should look like. Because I selected clip content, that means it's going to clip every content into itself. But if I deselect this clip content, then you can see every other thing can spill off, right? So let me deselect that because I think I want to change the size of this one. I'm going to change the size of this frame for a bit. So the width should be 292. All right. Okay, so we're good to go. So the next thing now is for us to add images to this section here. So I'm just going to add any random image for the purpose of this tutorial. Now that we've added all these images together, let's try and position this very well. So I'm going to give it 48 spacing is great. So this text can just align here. All right. So I'm going to select the frame itself, and I'm going to select clip content. Now let me show you how it works. I've selected this frame here, and I'm going to click. I'm going to select it. I'm going to drag the frame up to this end. Then I'm going to type, select the frame, go to prototype, and then select horizontal scrolling. And let's play our design. So we're just going to preview it here. All right. So this is it. It's as simple as that. Remember, when you're making your design, you can just try and be creative. You mustn't do like every other thing, like the convention that we have. You know, you can just try and to be more creative. Okay, and make sure that you follow some design guidelines. Like, for every font you use, make sure you research about it to know if the font is suitable for what you're about to design for, or if the image you're using is very clear. Make sure you use very clear image. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to my channel. My name is Pamela. You can send me your design to my DM at Pamela the Designer on my Instagram or TikTok. Then I can help you review.